What happens when the thing you've barely dared to dream for actually comes true? How does it change you when what you've been believing for and almost given up hope on finally becomes reality? The Redefining Possible podcast spotlights guests with stories of insurmountable odds who have witnessed the impossible become possible with God. Welcome to Redefining Possible. I'm your host, Peyton Hoffman, and with me today is entrepreneur, business owner, husband, father, Rick Schirmer. Rick, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's so excited to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. Oh,
what a
my
great
goodness.
topic. What a great topic.
I am excited about this. You have
Possible.
Redefining
Wow,
Possible.
look at this.
And you have a few
let's do it.
different Redefining Possible moments, but I know there was one that was really on your heart just to share today for our audience, and I'm excited.
Well, look, you've been here in Hollywood for how long?
7 years now.
7 years, okay, yeah. And I moved here forever ago, it feels like.
Longer than 7.
Over 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, over 20.
Yeah.
And so I came here out of college, and it was scary. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I grew up on a horse farm, in Arabian horse farm in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. Not nowhere. It's somewhere to the people who live there. But as far as people out here would think, middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So it was it was a moment. You know, when you come out. I think when I was in college, there was a guy at Chick-fil-A on my campus. You know, the campus Chick-fil-A's?
Yeah.
I don't know if you had one on your campus.
We did, yeah.
Okay, so we had a campus Chick-fil-A, not a full-service restaurant,
right.
but the little campus Chick-fil-A. And there's this guy, he was awesome. He reminded me of the guy in Pretty Woman, if you remember the guy in Pretty Woman who'd be like, what's your dream?
The best.
Some dreams come true, some don't. That's
yes.
all right, keep on dreaming, it's Hollywood. That guy, right?
Yep.
So, for me, this guy kept on, it was really funny because the guy, I was, working, I was pre-med.
Yeah.
I was working on political campaigns and because I took some political science electives. And then when I was taking an elective, a guy said like, hey, do you want to be my campaign manager? And I'm like, I'm pre-med. Like,
where does that fit?
Where does that even fit? I don't even know. But it was money, and I'm in college, and it sounded like fun. And I was like, okay, let's do this. So, anyway, so I get on this campaign, and the lady who's like the kind of co-campaign manager now, she was the real mastermind behind things, and I quickly found out they didn't need me to be the campaign manager. They needed me to be the campaign muscle.
Yeah,
because
that sounds about right.
There's a lady who's like 80-year-old lady who's like, the name was Betty Holmes, and she was an amazing woman. She was a true mastermind. She was like chief money raiser for the political party. I won't say what party that was.
Wow, yeah.
But she was like the woman, and she taught me a lot.
That's
and
amazing.
It was really like pretty incredible. Like, I started to realize about grassroots, influencer marketing, all that stuff early on back in the day.
20 years ago.
Before, like 25, I don't remember exactly, but it was back in the day. There's like a little fly coming at me. But it was back in the day when, the first social, it was like Y2K-ish, right?
Yep.
It was before there were social networks.
I was going to say there wasn't any of that. Yeah.
I always tell people the first social network really was an email list.
It was.
It was your email forward list. That was your social network. You could all of a sudden communicate with 25 people at once, or 100 people at once.
Yeah.
My uncle's got a joke list that he started sending out. Then he still has this list to this day, and that is his social network. He doesn't not on anything else.
We love the family.
I know he's 85-year-old Italian. Dago
sending out the joke list.
Yeah, the joke list. Our family's Italian on my mom's side. So anyway, so we, it was really, really kind of a fun beginning and learning about marketing, because I realized it wasn't really political campaigns that I liked so much. It was more marketing.
Wow.
I just love campaigns. I was like, I love campaigns. This is so fun.
This is fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Simultaneously, this guy at Chick-fil-A kept on telling me, he kept on calling me Hollywood. And I don't know why he kept on calling me Hollywood. It's prophetic, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, and I had no desire or interest to come to Hollywood. And he's just like, hey, what's up, Hollywood? Hey, what's up, Hollywood? It's just like, and I'm like this sort of like, I don't know, nerdy political guy, because I started working on all these campaigns and stuff. And it was just an incredible experience. But as the time kept on going further, I realized I was with a girl back then. great girl, but not my girl anymore.
Yeah.
But I was the girl back then, and we've been together since high school, and she always wanted to go to Hollywood, and that was her dream. And so I was sort of like, and we were both pre-med in college, like, I was going to do this, and she was going to do that, and, we were kind of like studying science, and and then it was sort of like this moment where I was like, is this what we're supposed to be doing? Like, I didn't want to be, because, we've been together since high school, and I didn't really think going to Hollywood was a great idea.
Right.
I thought it was like not practical, and
why would we do that?
Like, let's go to medical school, let's do this stuff, and then I even applied for early admission to start after my junior of college. So I was like really on that track.
Yeah.
And so, and she had applied to, medical school as well, like this science program and all this. Anyway, it was just a moment where I was like, Lord, are you calling us to do something different here? And so I was like, you know what? You've always had this dream. I don't want to be 7 years old one day or 80 and look back on a rocking chair with a tear in my eye of regret for not trying.
Be like, what if?
Yeah, and if I didn't encourage it, I felt bad because thinking like, I didn't care to go to Hollywood.
Right.
She cared to go to Hollywood. Right. And I just felt like, hey, is the Lord calling us to this? And is this, are we supposed to go?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to go if we're supposed to go. And so, anyway, we went to.
And that was your first time in Hollywood.
Yeah, so we decided to go to come out one summer.
Okay.
In those like junior year of college. And we're like, let's just go out and check it out. And so I got a job working we drove out all the way, got a job working for Universal Studios. Her aunt lived in Long Beach, which felt like LA, but now I know
not
it's not
quite.
really quite Hollywood. But we were like, okay. But we got to Universal Studios because we're like, okay, it's Hollywood. Universal Studios Hollywood. We're here. Let's do it. So so we get a job and get my idea. Still have that idea to this day.
Oh my goodness.
I can show it to you.
That's great.
My little keepsake box. And I'm picturing Universal Studios Hollywood.
Oh my.
And I was working on the Back to the Future ride.
Oh, that's
if you remember
fun.
that. You remember
that's
that?
Fun. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, not quite. I trained and then quit.
So you didn't really work on the ride.
I didn't really work on the ride. I was like, no, because it was like, I was thinking I was going to Hollywood. Like, I was like, I'm Universal Studios Hollywood. And then I was like, oh, I'm working on this ride. And this is like,
that was not the Hollywood you were thinking of.
I didn't fully realize I was like a theme park guy.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't understand. Anyway, I was still in college. We were like, okay, let's cut this. Let's just, hightail it back to Kentucky, enjoy it. We had a nice little moment out here and left. And then we came back.
So you're like, that was it?
Yeah, so we came back to Kentucky, went back. And then when I was back, I was praying in church. We went to Southeast Christian back in Kentucky, a big mega church there. And we just kept on praying. And I remember specifically leaning into prayer on this. And God said, I will, maybe you'll remember this. Do you know Scripture pretty well?
Pretty well, yeah.
The Lord will guide you always and will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land.
Ooh.
And I was like, and we had just been leaning in hardcore, like specifically in that moment.
And that's a scripture people
prayer.
Don't just get. I mean, that's not one of the
right.
Jeremiah 29:11. It's not. That's not one of the ones where people just
specific.
can call it out. That's very specific.
Pretty specific, yeah. So
Very
I was like,
specific.
whoa, okay. And then at the same time, my old Young Life leader decided he wanted to move out to Hollywood.
Wow.
And then I was like, kind of paving the way. And then my, I was talking to my pre-med, pre-law. I was actually, I didn't tell you because after time went on, I decided to double major in biology and political science.
Because one was not enough.
Well, I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I decided to major in biology and political science. And my professor was like, you should go to law school. And I was like, okay, well, let's just cover both bases. I'll be pre-med and pre-law.
Just for fun.
Just for fun.
Just for fun.
Why can't I just pick something easy for college?
Neither
a lot of people
track.
pick something easy, and neither one was easy. The LSAT and all this stuff. Well,
overachieving,
anyway.
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't understand where all this studying of biology and chemistry fits in my life, but anyway, part of the journey. Part of the journey. So anyway, so we in this zone, start to feel like this is coming to LA is big now.
Wow.
Being from Kentucky, everybody's like, no, it's a land of the fruit and nuts. And
that was the same reaction I had come from Virginia, too.
Is that where you're from?
They were like, why? Why would you do that? Why would
LA?
you come out here?
Right? Yeah. You get all this, right?
I do.
So it's all this
totally
opposition and opposition to you going. I don't know if it's based on just care or jealousy, or they just think it's weird, or whatever. Maybe different motivations, different people. Pretty much everybody was universally like, no, don't
do it.
Don't do it.
Wow.
Stop. Like you're driving down the wrong way on the freeway.
And there's like, please, there's a train wreck up ahead.
Remember Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? When like Steve Martin's like driving, they're going, you're going the wrong way. You're going
like everyone
the wrong direction.
When you move to LA.
Ooh, hey. That's like the funny. I have to watch that now. It's so good.
That's gonna be good. I love it.
So anyway, we're in on this journey, and it's it's really wild how much pushback we got and going, but. No, we're like, I remember thinking my first thought was, if the Lord's calling us here, I remember that scripture, gotta go.
Gotta go.
And like,
gotta go.
And then the other thing was, my argument to them was, I was like, look, there's about 10 million people in that city, and somehow all of them survive. Even if you don't believe in the Lord, believe in me, that we can go out there and
we'll
survive.
figure it out and survive.
Yeah, and I was like, look, I'm like 22 years old. I can come back home and
I was gonna say, worst case
sleep
scenario,
on a couch.
you hate it, you can come back. It's
sleep
not the end
on
of the
the
world.
parents' couch. It's who cares?
There was no dead end to this.
No dead ends. Yeah, we had about like, a couple grand in a Discover card.
Wow.
So we're like, let's do it.
Let's do it. Driving out here on a dream.
So we're like, let's do it.
Let's do it. Driving out here on a dream.
Yeah, literally.
Wow.
And so we came out, and it was an unbelievable journey. And I think that like what I've learned in my personal life, and I'm not sure if Scripture kind of like gets in with this, is that faith. What I've learned in my personal life is that faith, really activates things.
It does.
Right.
Yeah.
So like faith activates things. Like James says like faith without works is dead. Right? Like it's like they kind of go together.
They
right?
do. They do go together.
So we have to take that step out like Indiana Jones, in the Temple of Doom, where he steps out on that.
And tries. You have to try.
He steps on the invisible log.
Yeah.
And he kind of throws some sand on it, and he's like, oh,
there's something there.
Yeah, there's something there. And so you realize that, and I've realized that over and over and over and over again in my life, like a million different times. Yeah. But you still have to learn the same lessons over. And you're like, oh yeah, that time. But I'm scared now. Oh, but that time.
Well, and
we have to remind ourselves.
Yeah, we do. And I'm just thinking. Looking at where you are now, you're not pre-med. You didn't go to med school. You didn't, as far as I know, didn't ever go to law school.
I went to one class.
Did you go to one class?
Yeah,
okay.
I'll tell you. I'll finish the story and tell you. Yeah. So basically, I come out here. We're coming out, Discover card. And then my pre-law advisor was like, "You should just go to law school. There's a really cool university out there called Pepperdine.
Yeah,
and it's
great university.
A great university.
Great law school.
Yep. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go check it out. So we checked it out. Anyway, went down that path. Went into my first law class.
Wow.
Moved down here. Well, first of all, let me tell you this. So come out here, land in Calabasas. That's where our Young Life Leader friend was. Happened to be close to Pepperdine. It was like perfect.
Yeah,
like,
that's not far. That's not far.
Yeah, but it was like, Calabasas is just right through the canyon.
Right.
Most of the Pepperdine students live in Calabasas. Back in the day before Calabasas was the Kardashian town, before it was a thing, it was sort of like a nice suburb, and so but a lot of Pepperdine students lived in some apartments there and stuff like that. So because Malibu's so expensive, they want to get off campus, so that's the spot. So Malibu Canyon Road
would go right through,
which is right where Kobe, God rest his soul, had that crash right in that area.
Oh wow.
So we come out. And I, basically like, well, first of all, I'm like, drive through Malibu Canyon. I'm like, what the heck? This is what I'm from Farming, Kentucky. I'm like, whoa, Malibu Canyon Road is pretty epic.
Thing.
You're like cliffs going 300 feet down, and the mountains come in.
Oh, it will drop off.
Oh my gosh, it's like really. I was like scared. I was like, whoa, this is exciting. This is so cool. And then I get to Pepperdine, and if you've been to Pepperdine's campus, you're like, you walk out and you look like you're like, I have reached the promised land. Like, where am I right now? Like, this is like. Whoa! And I had this distinct feeling. I was like, I'm never leaving.
Wow.
I was like, I have.
Did you feel that about Pepperdine, or you felt that about California?
Both.
Wow. Oh,
Both.
wow.
Yeah, it was just like I knew I was home.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just in that moment.
Oh, that's
like
interesting.
I just looked out, and I was just like the massive ocean and the, gorgeous, and I was like, I'm home.
You're like, this is it.
Oh yeah, I was like, this is it. I'm home. Yeah, that was it. So anyway, so we had a so I kind of started this journey. Law school wasn't it.
Yeah.
I decided like, hey, let me just walk over to the business school and check out
Just
check out an MBA. Let me just check that out.
There's other majors.
And I went over
work.
there. Yeah, I actually went over there and filled out an application. They got took the GMAT or whatever it was, and then got accepted. And then I was like, okay, cool. And then what was cool about it was I was able to do it at night. And that was before like night programs were.
I was gonna say they didn't really do that back then.
Yeah, really, but Pepperdine was sort of leading the charge in that whole night thing.
That's great.
Back then, and they still are, but the USC and UCLA didn't even have that program.
Wow.
So so I get that going, but I remember driving down the road, and I had to get a job fast because remember I told you I had $2,000 in Discover card.
That's
right?
it.
And I'm like, this is all I got.
And now you've got business school.
Now I got business school. That's cool. I got that going.
Yeah.
But like that's going to be
But you gotta pay
part-time
for
at
that.
night. I got to pay for that, and I got to pay for like my life and student loans and stuff, whatever. But I was like, I got to get my, I got to get my
get yourself together a little.
get myself together. So I get out like the paper back in the day, the paper, and I literally like just rolling through looking for jobs, and I was like, there was a job for Aetna. I was faxing millions of faxes from my
all
computer.
The faxes.
They were from my computer. You could send faxes from your computer back then. So I was just jamming out faxes from my computer, and then they're just kind of going out. And then I get a call on Aetna U.S. Healthcare or Aetna Insurance, like business and whatever.
Health insurance,
Yeah, so I got a job with them, learned how to do some sales. It was like a 6-month gig, and I was like it was fun. It was super fun.
Yeah.
It was like small businesses and like,
And you were just making money. I mean, you were just
I was just trying to survive right now. Like I'm just like, I need to get like a job for a second to figure out like, and then
how do I pay rent?
simultaneously, we wanted to make it happen for her too, but we came out here for her, so we're like, okay, let's make that happen. So I kind of put together this little campaign for her to get an agent, and we got her an agent, and she got some TV shows right away.
That's great.
It was awesome. Yeah,
that's amazing.
It was amazing. Yeah, so God was just already blessing that, which is cool. And then over here, I'm like, okay, what do I do? And I was like, well, maybe I should just be in the industry since I'm also here.
Yep.
Maybe that'd be cool. Maybe God's calling. And I went to Malibu Press.
Yeah,
You
wow.
know Malibu Press.
Uh-huh.
And so some friends in Malibu Press were like, yeah, you should start telling me about the industry. And I'm starting to wrap my mind around a little bit. And I'm like, okay, well, let me just work in the entertainment business.
Like, why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
I'm here. No desire my whole life.
No.
And the guy who kept on calling me Hollywood was prophetically calling it out because I had never had a desire to work in Hollywood.
And you didn't have any kind of background in entertainment. It wasn't something you were trying to do.
No.
But
No interest.
one of the things that I see with so many folks that come out here that are creatives that come out to LA for entertainment is they forget that it's a business. And what I love about this part of your story is that you went to it from the business perspective, full out. I mean, straight away. You were coming in being like, it's a business. If I come in and I work for it, like I'm going to attack it, and I'm attacking it as a business.
Yeah, and most of the creatives. Side note from the story, but most of the creatives in the entertainment business forget about that business part.
They forget, they all do.
They just think it's entertainment. Even now we work with influencers and TikTokers and all the above, and so they have to remember the business side of things, and so they have to understand. I think that creators are now more than ever starting to understand that because like the value of growing their audience. Because now, all these years later, when they're looking for to cast somebody in a film. They're looking at their following.
They are.
And so but that's pretty recent. That's really even recent post COVID, to be honest. Like that's never been like a hardcore thing until now. And I've been doing the influencer stuff since the very beginning of influence. So I'll tell you about that a little bit more. But basically, gonna kind of stick with this like little narrative. I was driving down the 101 freeway. And I had this moment, and I was like, "Gosh, what am I doing? I don't know how to start in this industry. I don't know where to go. I'm on this job selling health insurance. It's been 6 months now. Like, God, what am I doing here? We're trying to grow her, stuff. But I'm trying to like
none of it's connecting.
Yeah, it's all connecting. Like, it's like I don't really want to be like a health insurance sales guy forever. So like, I'm just kind of like that was a gig. Well, so anyway, I had looked in Hollywood Reporter and the classified section, and there's like FedEx like delivering mail to studios, and I'm like, well, I heard about people getting started in the mailroom, so maybe that's what I should do.
I've heard the stories.
You've heard. I had this moment where I'm driving to the 101 freeway, and I was just like, Lord, I remember because my emotional blockages. I remember feeling it intently, and deeply emotional moment. I might even teared up a little bit.
Wow.
And I was just so scared and like, you know, but also like sad. And I was like, Lord, please, like help me. I don't know what to do or where to go. You said to come here, and I'm just following your lead, and here I am.
Like, guide me. What do I do?
Yeah, 100%. So I just felt like a leading to get off the freeway, and I was in Camarillo, and go to the Kinko's, which is now FedEx office, and go to the Kinko's and get on the internet. Old school,
just
Internet
random.
Explorer.
Yeah.
No, to do some research, just to like sort of like really kind of like do some spirit-led research. And so I thought, well, I worked in politics in college, and I was like, I wonder if there's a place where like, because I watch like, you know, watch E! News and stuff like that. Yeah, you watch like all the like press and stuff like that, and it seems like the world of politics and Hollywood kind of have a connection point. Like, where does it connect? There's got to be a
what is that?
Yeah, what is that? So I started doing some research, and I see a bunch of things pop up. But one of the things I noticed is that all the movie studios are lobbyist employers.
Yes.
Like, they're all lobbyists.
That's true.
And I was like, oh, well, I worked for the National Committee. I won't say which one, but I worked for, you could probably guess though. But I worked for the National Committee. I was a youth delegate to the National Convention.
Yeah.
I worked for a senior senator.
Yep.
I'll actually say who the senator was because it's just part of the story. So I worked for Senator McConnell. So Senator McConnell, he's also a family friend. And so I worked for Senator McConnell, and so now I kind of outed my affiliation.
There you go.
I don't really care about politics. Like I said, I like marketing. At the time, I was just in the middle of it. I'm from Kentucky, and McConnell's from Kentucky, so it just made sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Makes sense. So anyway, so I started doing this research, and I see these big names, the heads of the studio, lobbyist employers, you know, like all these like really big names. Well, I see the Motion Picture Association of America, and I was like, the MPAA, the guys who rate the movies and stuff. So I see that one, and there's a lady named, her name was Melissa Patak, and she was the vice president, you know, and I was like, okay, like that seems a little less intimidating than calling Disney
a little
or
bit,
Paramount,
a little bit better,
whatever. Yeah, so I was like, okay, let's give her a call. Now, I used my cold call skills I just learned at Aetna.
Oh, wow, I love that.
You know, I learned how to like make a cold call.
Already like using that. Wow.
Amazing, right? And I had a great sales coach who was my guy. His name was Andrew Schutz, and I wonder where he is today. He was a great guy. And I was like basically like I did what he always taught me. He was great. He basically would say like, hey, if you're gonna cold call somebody, don't approach them with stranger energy. Like just talk to them like you talk to anybody else. Because if you start talking to people weird and stiff, then they're gonna be like. So I'd always be amazed by his ability to like just get on the phone with somebody and be like, hey, so and so, hey, it's Andy at Self Care. How you been? Like, you know,
like they've known each other for
they've known each other forever.
Years.
Yeah. And then it was always amazing because like he would just sort of like always. Because as soon as you come with weird sales energy, then people put their
they put the walls up. It's true. It's true. Everybody. It's true.
So anyway, so he would just be like, you know, he would just like, hey, so and so, and it just worked. He'd just be like, yeah, okay, just he was so casual, like the old TV series Columbo. Like he was just so casual, like Columbo-y. And
he came as a friend and not as
he came as a friend. Yeah,
somebody
like,
trying to sell force something on them.
Yeah, he's like, it's either going to work or not work. But there's no sense in being weird and having sales energy. Just be, just talk to somebody like they're a person and just be normal. And I thought that was great. And so what I did was I took that and I called the MPAA and I was like, this girl named Jessica answered, and I was like, hey Jessica, my name's Rick Schirmer, and I just want to tell you, like, I'm actually just got here from Kentucky just to be human for a second. I'm really thanks for your time. I'm just trying to get some advice, and I moved here from Kentucky, and I worked for a senator, and I just moved out here because my, the girl I'm with is,
this
whatever.
is her dream.
Her dream, and so I'm just trying to find out where I fit. And I was just wondering if you might be able to give me some advice. I was like, honestly, like I'm not looking even for a job right now. I'm truly looking for advice. I was just really human with her,
is so beautiful.
And I was just like, hey, I'm just a human to human, And so we have a nice human conversation.
So good.
She calls me back about I feel like it was like about 10 minutes later, 15 or something like that. Calls me back, and she said, Melissa, the VP, we'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. if you can make it.
Oh my goodness! And you didn't ask to first sit down with Melissa. You weren't like.
I just asked if I could get some advice.
Yeah,
from
you're
her
just like, I'm looking
Melissa.
for
Yeah,
advice.
I thought even
whoever.
her, like as an assistant, like
anybody will help.
Anybody, yeah. I was like, anybody, yeah. Like, I'm so happy, thank you. So she called, and I was like, oh my gosh, what? So I get my, the next day, I get my little legal pad together, trying to look official, put my fake glasses,
I love it. You're like, I'm gonna look smart. I'm gonna have my act
and like
together.
Have my suit and a tie, and I go into
my legal pad.
Yeah, legal pad. I remember got there early. Went to the McDonald's across the street on Ventura Boulevard, probably still there, and the MPAA is on Ventura Boulevard in Encino. And so I walked. Is it still there? I think it's still there.
I think it's still there. Yeah.
So I walked across the street and sat down and said hi to her, and I sat down in the chair with Melissa. Now here's where things get a little wild. Just the Lord. Yeah. You could never orchestrate this. So I sit down with Melissa and I'm talking to her and I was like, hey, whatever. We kind of have like a good little connect. Yeah. And when you just kind of click with somebody and have a nice vibe. We had a nice little vibe. And then she said, now my resume just reeked of Republican, to be honest, because that was like Republican National Committee. And I'm in Kentucky. I'm interning for Senator McConnell. And that's, again, not that I'm Mr. Republican. I'm just happened to that was my opportunity.
Right. This is what you've done.
This is what I've done. Yeah. To be clear, I don't like politics. But yeah. So I was like, well, my resume and I worked for a local state senator and all this stuff. I was like,
it was a lot of political stuff too.
It was all political.
Yeah.
My whole resume was fully political. I was like political science.
Zero entertainment on there.
Oh, none. It was 100% political. Like. Youth delegate to the Republican National Convention, Team 100, all the top lobbying companies in the nation who donate $100,000 plus soft money. I worked in member relations for those people, so I handled those relationships. So
she's seeing all of this.
Oh yeah, she's seen all this. Well, so she asked my resume, and that's when I was like, okay, like I'm in Hollywood. I know there's not many Republicans around here. Well, she sees my resume and she looks at it and she gets a smile on her face and she goes, so which senator did you work for? And I was like, Senator McConnell.
Yeah.
Just trying to say,
you're like, can I say it?
She gets a smile on her face.
Wow.
Like literally like a grin. And I'm like, sort of like, this is either really good or really bad.
Yeah, which way is this going to go?
Yeah. She turns behind her and does like this and points to the wall. There's a picture this big of her hugging Senator McConnell on her wall.
Get out.
No joke. Like literally, kid you not. I'm just sitting here like, I was like, what is happening right now? I had I still get goosebumps thinking about it. Yeah, because you're doing like this is just obviously like
of all the people, but of all the senators and of all the people for her to have a picture of, and in LA.
Turns out that she worked for Senator McConnell, and she was his chief legal counsel in Capitol Hill.
Wow.
And she had just moved out to LA 6 months ago.
So she was fresh to LA as well.
She was fresh to LA too, and
that's amazing. That's
I know.
Too. Yeah.
And somebody had helped her, and so I caught her at a good time. She wanted to pay it forward. She wanted to pay it forward.
I have goosebumps on that. Yeah.
She was like, she wanted to pay it forward, and she was like, she after that sit down with her, she wrote a letter to the governor of California.
Wow.
And a letter to all the heads of all the movie studios and sent them my resume.
No.
With a strong endorsement. She called back to McConnell's office.
Oh my goodness.
And they were like, we love Rick. Rick's awesome.
She vetted you. She made sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they were like, I mean, thankfully she happened to call the right person.
Yeah.
Because there could have been somebody else that she called.
It was like, who? Or like they were new or something, you didn't remember you. Like,
million people were you, because you got the campaign office in Kentucky and then you got Capitol Hill.
Right.
Right. Two different offices, two different teams.
But she called someone who actually knew who you were.
She happened to call the right person. I don't know. That's all. That's all the Lord too. It's not like everybody in McConnell's camp was like Rick Schirmer cheerleaders.
Yeah.
It just happened she called the right person.
Wow.
And that's all the Lord. Every step of the way. So she writes these letters and then she sends them out, and probably like a week, maybe not even a week. It feels like days later. I get a phone call from the Walt Disney Company.
Wow.
And it's a lady named Rika, who, by the way, is still one of my best friends today.
Amazing.
And so Rika, we get on the phone. She had just left the Clinton White House.
Wow.
And to which, if you remember history, Clinton McConnell in the impeachment trial.
Didn't go well.
I probably wasn't going to be like a good connect for me. The girl who's calling me being from the Clinton.
You're thinking this
Team
is
Clinton.
This is going to be interesting. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be really interesting. again, we're best friends today, so I'll tell you the story. But anyway, so we get in there, and so I come to Disney, Burbank.
Yep.
Have you seen like when you go back to the Disney gates, the Team Disney building with the 7 doors? Now, the government affairs team, very small, and we report directly to the CEO.
Okay.
So like we
So they hire you.
Yeah, so we sit down. We sit down and we just click, and just like the Lord just had it, and it turned out that my resume went to a guy named Jeffrey, who was at the Trump Hotel in D.C. No political affiliation back then, and he sees my resume and says, "Let's see this guy." And he wanted me to come in because I was from the other side of the aisle.
That's so interesting.
To have like kind of dual representation.
That's
as a government affairs, you kind of need to give to both sides, right? And so he was like, let's see this guy. She and I just happened to click from day one, and we just literally became best friends.
That's fantastic.
And literally been best friends ever since.
I love that.
Then I went to work for Disney, and then there I am. That's how I started my whole career, and that's just the Lord all the way. And then, God's just architected my journey ever since. I went from Disney in government affairs to the corporate alliance team, where we work on major collaborations.
That makes more sense to me now, knowing you now,
Well, I work for the cool thing is when you work for the CEO or you work for the executive vice president of the company, you kind of have like your pick of the litter.
You can kind of move around
in the company,
and learn.
move around,
Which is
you're
beautiful.
So high. So I just worked my butt off just to make sure make people proud of me that they would, when I wanted to make a move, they would let me. And so I went to the corporate alliance team. Again, major collaborations with like McDonald's, American Express. Think of those kind of Fortune 500 brands. And so they're like 10-year, multi-$100 million, billion-dollar deals. It was all very MBA, all Harvard MBAs, all like hardcore. Disney sent me to Oxford over in England to do another master's program. And I, which was great, and they paid for
which is amazing
part of that. And then you had to be sponsored by your company, and it was Disney to go to Oxford like that. And so that was cool to go do a master's program there, and then Pepperdine, and they let me do that, give me some time off to do that, and it was just really cool. It was super fun. And then I went to the movie division and started doing collaborations with other companies and movies. And then I left Disney, another big step of faith. Left Disney because I wanted to do more sort of like everybody's in the tech space, everybody's leaving, Y2K-ish, like .com world. And I was like, I want to do something cool, and I just like am more aggressive because when you get in Disney, I love Disney. To this day, I love the company. I still say we when I refer to Disney because it's in my blood.
It's in your blood.
But I love the company. But it was just a little too slow moving for me. Like when you're in Disney, like it's just really slow and moves all the approvals and everything. And so I went to an indie studio. And they let me do my first influencer campaign. It was a viral influencer campaign. Amazing. Blair Witch had just come out, and I was like, I like this viral stuff. It's cool.
And it was before it was a thing.
It was before. I mean, it was a little bit of a thing because Blair Witch came out. And when I was at Disney, I loved that campaign. I was like, thought it was the coolest campaign
that's
ever.
how they did it. The whole movie.
The whole movie was like that. And if you remember, it was early influencer campaign, meaning they did it through little MPEG files. They were making people wonder if Blair Witch was real or not real. Do you remember this?
Yep, I do.
So they were like, they're sending around little MPEG files in email lists.
Like email things.
Yeah, it was like for a social network was email. So that's how Blair Witch did it. They had a whole "Is this real?" campaign going on, and people were sending out. It was the first viral movie campaign of all time. That I
didn't realize it was the first one. Wow, that's amazing. I didn't realize it was the first one. Wow, that's amazing.
I'm pretty much an insider, and I would say that's the first one. Maybe someone would disagree with me, but
I love that, and that's how your passion for that really got started.
Yeah, and it just reminded me of all the influencers in the email list that we did in college when I was
doing the political stuff.
Political stuff, and so I loved movie campaigns because they were just like political campaigns. It's all about opening weekend for a movie, and it's all about Tuesday. Yeah. Like tomorrow's Tuesday, they're having an election in New York right now. So there's going to be election. It's like it's do or die time, or do or live time, and those guys have got to, they're going to know. Yeah. The mayor of New York's going to know if he's won or not tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's going to we're within a couple days. So I just love that rush, of campaigns, and movie campaigns reminded me just of political campaigns, even more fun because they didn't have the. Some of the toxicity, some of the stuff that you get with political stuff. Yeah. So movies were a blast, and I left, and then our team worked on a bunch of small ones, and then we did our team at Moda, we did The Passion of the Christ, and then we did Chronicles of Narnia, and then Land of Witch and the Wardrobe.
Amazing.
Yeah, and we started like niching out with like the faith market at first, because we kind of developed the playbook for how to launch a faith-based movie.
That was not a thing.
That was also not a thing.
Yeah.
So when we launched The Passion, it became a thing. So even the faith movies and TV shows, which I also work on today, like The Chosen and House of David, I work on all those
amazing ones.
I work on all these shows, and so like the cool thing is that like we developed that playbook back then that everybody's still using to this day.
Which is so cool.
It's all influencers and all the stuff. So it's been an unbelievable ride, and it's so cool. Like every step of the way, God's just sort of like put the ground in front of me.
He's led it.
100%. Like I couldn't even really. I feel like I'm pretty strategic, but I feel like I couldn't ever be that strategic.
No.
And how like I just would never have that ability to be that strategic, and also like. Kind of Forrest Gumpy, in the sense that God just kind of keeps putting me in the right place.
You're just like, okay, I think I'm here.
Yeah, it's just like sort of like God just puts me in the right place, and I'm like, oh, here, like do you remember Forrest Gump, right? He just kept on winding up in the right places
at the right time.
At the right time, and I feel like there's, as much as I'd love to like beat my chest about an MBA and Oxford and my Disney resume and stuff like that, honestly, that helps. But that helps, when you, especially when you get a gig and you have to like your training kicks in and stuff like that. But those opportunities, like I've never in my whole career been one to sort of like do cold calling or cold outreach. Everything's just always led to the next thing, and God's just always put the right things there. Even at times when like I desperately needed it, but like the story I just told you, I desperately needed it, but but my strategery didn't get me there.
Didn't get you there.
No, it didn't get me there.
It was all. I mean, the open doors.
In all
are
those
all
cases, they could tell you 100 more of those, God stories. And I think that like for you, like, thinking about what's possible, the possibilities. I mean, like, the truth is, people say, and our pastor of our church, I think we go to the same church, but we also both go to the same two. We both
too.
We both two times.
We balance.
We balance. But one of the churches that we go to collectively a lot is Bel Air Presbyterian Church here in LA, up on Mulholland. And Pastor Drew, who's an amazing dude. You probably had him on your show, I'd imagine.
I already did. He's going to be the first episode that comes out. Yeah,
oh, he's a great guy.
He's great.
Oh, what a great guy. But he said, which I thought was really cool and wise, that, we grow up teaching our kids that they can do anything.
Yep.
That's actually not right. What's really right is you can do anything God calls you to.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so like there's a calling that you have and something that God's created you for, something special. And you can do, if God's called you to it, he'll equip you for it.
He will.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, and it doesn't mean that we're all going to be blazingly successful, and sometimes there's a lesson to learn, and things, don't always work out the way we expect. But I think that no matter what, if God's called you to it, he'll equip you for it.
He totally will.
And will lead you through it.
Yeah.
If in those cases where things don't turn out the way you want them to for some reason, he'll still lead you through it.
He'll
and
redirect
help you
you
learn
too.
And grow and redirect you. Yeah.
So on that note too, Rick, what would you say for someone who, let's say they're in the beginning part of the journey where you once were, and they're kind of having that moment where they're like, okay, like, Lord, what am I doing? Like, if they're believing for entertainment business, they're believing for this type of career, but they're not really even really sure what it looks like. I mean, what would be your advice to somebody like your younger self? Like, what would be somebody who's watching or listening that is not in the senior level where you are, but is, not necessarily even entry, but just has done some work, but is sort of trying to connect the dots like you were?
Yeah. I think that like I think you just got to keep stepping.
Yeah.
I mean, like the hardest times in my life in general, I've just had to keep stepping.
Like one foot in front of the other.
One foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
Like it's like this foot leads to that footstep, leads to that footstep.
Yeah.
And you just got to be like, and even on a personal note, like my mom passing or, a breakup, or whatever had been, or whatever it's been, financial hardships or whatever, you just got to keep stepping.
You keep going.
And I think like probably one of my bigger lessons in life, because I'm a little ADHD and kind of hop around a little bit, and I think one of my bigger lessons in life has been to practice awareness.
That's so good.
And awareness of what God's doing.
Yeah.
Because I think that like he's always doing so much.
He's
God's
always
doing so much. And like it's like there's an old Bible study series, and I can't remember if I, but it's called Experiencing God. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Henry Blackaby or something was the Blackaby.
That might be right.
Blackaby, yeah.
That could be right. Yeah.
I think it was like I think they came out of the Southern Baptist Church or something.
Yeah.
I don't know where it came. I'm not Baptist, but you know what I mean. It was a popular
but it was
series.
good, yeah.
30 years ago or whatever, and it was about joining God at work where he's working,
going.
where he's going. You remember this? And that was the big thesis. Was like going like, okay, Lord, like where do you want me to be? And I think like to this day, like I mean, I've been blessed to be a part of so many cool things.
Yeah.
We made a movie called I Can Only Imagine.
Yeah, which is amazing.
In that movie,
I love that movie.
Yeah, my friend Cindy Bond, who's a wonderful lady, and she's been real instrumental in my life. She actually, with her office here in Santa Monica, and she's like, Ricky, I want to make a movie about the song I Can Only Imagine.
Oh, it's such a great. I didn't know the backstory, by the way, before the movie. I
didn't
had
either.
No idea.
No idea, nor did
amazing.
I. And so she said, she was like, Ricky, I want to make this movie, and I was like, I didn't think it was a great idea because I didn't really know the story.
Right.
But I was like, oh, I thought it was just generically like it was a popular song, and
Yeah.
So I was like, well, you know what? You're in luck because I know those guys really well. They're friends of mine. Those guys,
And you didn't know them, but you didn't know the backstories. Like
I know the backstory, but no, the guy, the Mercy Me,
right.
Their manager Scott Brickle are my friends. So I was like, well, hey, do you want to get on a plane?
Like, let's go see them.
Do you want to go see them? Do you want to go to their house?
Great.
And she was like, yes. So I charged her like a little consulting fee, not even that much. And I remember I think it was like $5,000.
Yeah.
And so we, enough to pay for the tickets and whatever out there. We flew out there and did whatever. And then we sat down, went to Scott Brickle's house. And he has this really cool house and amazing backyard and pool and sled. And he's like a big kid.
Yeah.
Brickle's one of my besties. I was just texting with him 2 nights ago.
I love that.
And Cindy's amazing, still a bestie of mine too. And she lives in LA still and still doing all this stuff.
Great.
And we had this pitch the movie, and next thing you know, like, honestly, that 8 years went by before the movie finally came out.
And that's a God story too.
That's another big God story about how that came out.
We'll have you back.
Finally, the movie came out, and $100 million plus later,
amazing.
The movie's done amazing, and now I Can Only Imagine 2 is coming out.
I did not know that.
About the song, about another song that you're gonna love because it's called Even If, and Even If is about. Do you know the song?
I do know the song, but I don't know the story behind it.
Yeah, it's like about worshiping through things.
Even when everything falls apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's gonna be incredible. So. It's just been awesome. So I've been had my fingerprints on so many things that
I just love that though.
From The Passion to The Chosen. Now I also worked on a lot of stuff that's not even faith-based at all. By the way, I mean I've worked on The Purge. I got to, which I was so excited about. I got to work on Blair Witch re-release the anniversary edition.
Which brought you back to the first days.
Brought me back to the first days.
Well,
I didn't work on Blair Witch. I was at Disney.
Right.
But I was such an admirer, so the fact that I get to work on the anniversary campaign for Lionsgate was very full circle for me.
I love that.
It was so cool. I was like, I get to work on Blair Witch. It's so cool. I get to put it on my resume now. But we've worked on a lot of fun stuff. It's Chick-fil-A is one of my clients. I've worked with Chick-fil-A for over 20 years, and we were. I mean, when I started working with Chick-fil-A, it was a smaller regional chain, and we. Probably we've grown 20x at least since then. I won't use numbers or dollars, but we've grown at least maybe 25x since then, and it's insane.
It's
the growth.
crazy.
I was just at Chick-fil-A headquarters 3 days ago.
I just
Yeah.
love how the Lord has like woven this life. I mean, it looks like and sounds like each step along the way. I mean, I love your advice just to keep persevering, go one step at a time. And really just the Lord is continually redefining what's possible for your life. And I love that.
I think another thing that I would say to people too is that when you're on your journey, sort of like what I've noticed is that one part of the journey usually leads to another. The only one that was like really weird for me that didn't fully relate was all the pre-med stuff.
Yeah.
Because I was like, where's this pre-med stuff going to come in?
You know what came to me is all your stuff that you and Rachel have been through with her health.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
that may not have even, and I was thinking that when you said it, and you're like, I don't know where this fits, and I was like, I do.
Yeah.
and
wow.
That's
really cool.
That
I did not think about that.
So you can go back after this, and like you're gonna take that and process that.
Yeah, you're gonna process that. Well, it's really cool. I've enjoyed.
Everything is fit. Everything is fit.
And I just think that like when you're looking and you're at a point of change in a journey, think about like where you're at, because where you're probably going to go most of the time is related to where you've been.
Yeah.
Like not for sure, but like, as you're thinking about it, think about like, oh, I was in government affairs and like now I'm in Hollywood. So is there a point where the political stuff like connects to Hollywood?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like kind of look for those connections and like I said, that still could never made that happen.
No.
That this lady was like McConnell, and then then she called the right person at McConnell's office, and then she connected me to Disney, and then Disney wanted to hire somebody from the side of the aisle, the other side of the aisle. By the way, I took Rachel to probably the only Republican that was invited to President Clinton's 70th birthday party.
Oh.
And I took Rachel to President Clinton's 70th birthday party. There's only about 150 people there,
Small people,
max, very intimate. It was at the Rainbow Room at the top of Rockefeller Center.
Oh, how fun.
Top of Rock. And it was amazing. I mean, I got to tell you, this is the most star-studded event in all my years in Hollywood. That was definitely the most star. I was in the men's room, the urinal.
Yep.
This is the TMI. But to my left is Bon Jovi. To my right is Sean Penn.
And you're just like,
and I'm just like sitting here like, hey, I'm just here, just kind of like hanging out. Oh, and then who is behind me?
You're Forrest Gumping your way through again.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, Forrest Gumping my way through. But we had a lot of fun. And then we walked in. We left a little early. Barbara Streisand saying, "Happy birthday, Mr. President." Rachel got a great photo with the president.
So great.
And then we're leaving, and we cut out a little early with Barry Diller and von Furstenberg.
Yep.
His wife. And so we walked out. We kind of snuck out together a little early, trying to get to the Valet Fest.
Well, I love it. Well, I have loved having you on here. Thank you so much.
It's so fun to talk.
How the Lord has been orchestrating all of these stories. And thank you so much. Thank you for this amazing episode of Redefining Possible. Thank you to Rick. And I cannot wait to see all of you all next time on Redefining Possible.
What happens when the thing you've barely dared to dream for actually comes true? How does it change you when what you've been believing for and almost given up hope on finally becomes reality? The Redefining Possible podcast spotlights guests with stories of insurmountable odds who have witnessed the impossible become possible with God.